Okay, so week 5, we're getting there. Some of you have presentations this week, and you've given me, hopefully, your PowerPoint ahead of time. I need that so I can upload it and make sure that we're ready to go. Just a note that our presentation starts at 6 o'clock, not 5 o'clock. Make sure you have that right time, 6 o'clock. You have a 15-minute limit. Please don't go over that. It's a long night for everybody when you do. My last group was their first class, and they were going on for half an hour, and I had to okay, wrap it up. Let's go. So make sure that you practice and you're within that 15 minutes. This week we're talking about centralized and decentralized budgeting. Districts have either one, and if you have more money in your budget, you probably are decentralized, which means you can make a lot more decisions. There are some good and bad things in both of them. Centralized means that there's standardization of projects and materials on campus. And as a district office person, I like centralized because I can say, oh, we're all going to have Read 180 as our reading intervention, and I'm going to make sure that you have the computers and the books and the licenses that you need, and I can take care of that from a district office standpoint. But then I have some standardization in how we're doing things for kids. It also means that you have less time that you have to spend in the budget as a principal, and you have similar programs throughout the district, and that's always a good thing if you want to say, yeah, our district offers this as an intervention. For decentralized, you're going to be spending a lot more time with your budget because you have a lot more money that you've got to account for. You can, as a principal, make some decisions of what you think is important for your school. So if you wanted to be a VAPA school, you can put money into those art programs. Maybe you wouldn't be able to make those decisions when it's a centralized budget. But it is more challenging, and you have to spend a lot more time with it. So those are the two programs. You've got a budget worksheet on, I believe it's on page 105. And even though it's old, you're like, oh my gosh, this is really old, 2007, those object codes are still very, very similar, or actually the same. We haven't changed object codes. So it gives you kind of a good worksheet to work from if you wanted to. It also talks about maybe building an Excel worksheet, which I'm sure most of you know how to do, and calculate your budget from there. It's a good idea to do something to keep records of your budget, because a principal that can't manage their budget is not looked at well at the district office. You ever wanted to move up and you couldn't manage your budget, you're not going to. Okay, so make sure that budget is something you spend time with at least once a month, looking at how much money you spent, how much money is encumbered, what's still left. The district office does not look kindly at the end of the year when you still got $100,000 in your account and you're like, yeah, I wasn't sure how to spend it. And then the warehouse is full of, right now our warehouse is full of a lot of technology that could have been used during the school year, and people didn't spend, which not cool. You got to spend your money this year on these kids. So keep good records. The two places that principals get into trouble are ASB funds, and lots of times it's not because they're doing something wrong, it's because they're not overseeing them. So make an appointment with whoever is doing your ASB funds. Maybe it's your vice principal, or you've got a teacher in charge of that. Once a month you're looking at those records and looking at that budget, because when we leave it in the hands of parents, a lot of times they will embezzle. It's just too tempting for them, and they don't understand how to keep good records, a lot of them. So you make sure that you're taking time to do that, even though it's a lot. It's not a lot of money, so people get themselves in trouble because they it's only $500. You still get a lot of trouble for that. Also, revolving cash, I do not recommend you have it on campus. I recommend that you do everything through a PO, so it's goes through the proper channels. But just in case you have revolving cash on campus, you lock it up every night. There are receipts. It's tallied. You're not tallying it by yourself, because that's how people get in a lot of trouble. So I recommend not doing it all, but if you have it, make sure that you are keeping good records with it. Okay, so when you do an audit, you could have a positive, unqualified, a qualified, or a no opinion, which is not good. You don't want that one. The district pays for people to come in and do the audit. So it's our own people coming in and doing the audit. Well, not maybe our people, but we pay people to come in and do it. So we really want to cooperate with them as much as possible. It's not an IRS audit where you're trying to fight somebody. They're looking for things that maybe we can shore up with our procedures and the way we do things. It's not really a gotcha. It's more of a let's make sure that no one can do fraud with us, or make sure that no one is embezzling. And there are plenty of instances where school district officials or principals people that are in a place where they can make up POs and get things, or use their brother-in-law's company to have invoices delivered to them. There's people that get a lot of trouble for this and go to jail. So we want to make sure that we're auditing annually and making sure that we look at what the findings are and putting those in place so that we can guard against that, because that money belongs to our kids and we want to make sure it goes for education and not somebody's pocket. All right, so 6 p.m. Wednesday night, I will see you there. If you're presenting, I'll see you there no matter what, but if you're presenting, I hope you did a great job, and we're looking forward to hearing your presentation. All right, guys, have a nice week.